Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, New York City. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Come on, we in the Bronx. I already know y'all can get better than that. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
There we go. Here. Thank you to Grace Ramirez, who has continued to be a blessing for us here in New York City and across the country. In every possible way, I'm grateful to Grace. And I will say this all the time, because of Grace, because of Jose Andres, because of World Central Kitchen, millions of New Yorkers were fed, and hundreds of thousands are still alive because they believed in us. And I don't take it lightly that you're here to believe in me today, so let's clap it up for Grace Ramirez, everybody. Thank you for believing in me and for being here today and believing in a bigger vision for all of us. Thank you to my family in blood and those joined in love. You are the reason that I give God the glory. Thank you to my team who believes in me and gives their all. And even if someone may not know your name, your commitment will live on for generations not yet born. May we honor this native land that we are on, standing in honor of our ancestors. And I thank Michael and Spinfo and all those that have come together to allow us to be in this special place of Sankofa Haus, which is relevant for this historic occasion on today. Every day is a new day, a new moment, a new hope for change. Yesterday shall never return, including the darkness of some nights or some seasons in life. But tomorrow gives us a chance for hope. But only shall we get to tomorrow if we start the work for the people today. Our city, our leadership, our communities need us today. In 1958, in Tucson, Arizona, in the midst of democratic and national turmoil, JFK said words that meet the moment, that point, but also here today as well. So long as there's one child without milk, so long as there's a family without a decent home, aged persons without pensions, working mothers without fair wages, struggling farmers without income, so long as there are overcrowded schools and inadequate hospitals, families on relief, so long will we be called upon as a Democratic Party, and so long will we be called upon to assume the responsibilities of leadership. Whether it was 1958 or 2024, New Yorkers know that we need policies to make our lives better. It is important, in my belief, though, to build trust. You first have to highlight past records of service. I don't believe you just can show up and tell someone that you're going to be good. You got to show them what you were doing beforehand. So in that spirit, and in a building of Sankofa that means go back and get it in that historic manner, let us go back to the challenging times that we had before in COVID-19. A time when people were truly wondering how they would make it. While so many so-called leaders in this race chose to stay home in their safe homes, I chose to be with the people. Instead of worrying about my own election, I worried about, did you eat that day? As union members needed masks and healthcare workers needed meals, I decided that I had my peace if I could give them a peace of mind. Similarly, nationally, as Trump continued to delay sending money so he could put his name on a check, I penned my name in writing and used my voice to demand change for the people, so that small minority women-owned businesses could actually get the funds that they needed at a time they needed most. When I served as your assembly member at a family day trying to de-escalate a situation, and officers grabbed me and tossed me against the gate, someone else recognized me and said to get off of him. But I said, what would happen to the person that you don't know their name and you don't know their title? Now let us be clear, the same way we deserve to go home safely, so do officers and firefighters and first responders, because when an emergency happens and you call 911, you don't worry about someone's name, you just worry, will they help you? From distributing meals to providing funds to restoring respect, I use those moments to remind us of where we were before today, of where we came together to give us hope in present challenges and the future that lies ahead. If you still don't believe me, let me make it clear. I'm a kid from the Bronx, New York. I stand before you whose mother, a 40-year manufacturer, raised 4 boys into black men. She was once homeless and slept on church pews, but still is the best cook that I know and has reminded me to be home for Thanksgiving dinner. But I'm here despite the reality that in my first year in the assembly, there were many days that I couldn't afford my own bills. And I slept on a couch and didn't tell people about that. Too embarrassed to say that I needed help while I was trying to seek to provide help to my constituents. I understand pain like you, but I also see our promise in you. It's a promise that our future can and will always be brighter than our past, with new leadership. Leadership that goes back to my days at Creston and Burnside, where I had spelling bees at PS 79. Now I lost one year, but I won the next year, but I digress. To junior high school 118, a senior class president at DeWitt Clinton High School, to associate student government at Northwestern University and state assembly member here in New York. Along that journey, Mama coined a phrase for our family to demonstrate our path of public service, which includes my oldest brother who has served this country for 29 years in the Army as a retired sergeant first class. She said, baby went from no house in Jamaica to the Black House at Northwestern to the White House in DC to the State House in Albany. And while in Albany, it was a record that helped the people. I led and had signed into law a bipartisan bill with Republican State Senator Jack Martin's, a prompt pay bill that would pay New York businesses faster, especially those that had less than 300 employees. I led the creation of My Brother's Keeper, which is still the only statewide program for boys and young men of color in this country. I co-led Raise the Age, so that 16 and 17-year-olds were not tried as adults in an unjust system. I co-led Diversity in Medicine, so that we could have more people who look like us taking care of us. From a co-sponsor on climate change legislation to regularly being the only faith leader who would speak up for women and choice when Republicans try to talk you down, my heart is in public service and putting you first. From demanding that African and Caribbean families should not be separated, as they were under the Trump administration when so many were silent here, to going down to Puerto Rico to help lift up our families after a hurricane and an earthquake. Unlike Trump and Adams, I see you and I respect you because I'm one of you. You will have opponents who will try to say things about me, but I remind them that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Many New Yorkers are feeling that they are living in a crisis right now, feeling that it will not get better for them right now, especially as it pertains to crime and public safety, cost of living, and immigration. Just 1 month ago today, a New York Times poll said that only 12% of New Yorkers would vote for Eric Adams to be re-elected. You heard that correctly. 12%. 64% say they disapprove of his job. 47% say strongly. 48% says that crime is getting out of control. So if the law and order mayor who once said the city council members shouldn't speak to them unless they wore a vest can't keep you safe, then he should not keep his job. Even in the face of demeaning language about our migrants, more people know that we are better when we help our immigrants than otherwise. And never forget that on November 2nd of last year, when Mayor Adams literally landed in Washington, D.C. for a meeting at the White House to address the migrant situation. He turned back around because his fundraiser was being raided. Internalize this. Why would someone leave a chance to fight for you when they chose to fight only for themselves? Eric Adams decided that getting answers about his campaign was more important than New Yorkers getting answers. He chose his campaign over the people. He decided that it was more important to protect himself than to protect you. Well, 1 month later, today, we have a chance for a new day in New York City, a chance to make a decision about the future that we deserve. Let us go and claim the destiny that we seek and say that, yes, there's a crisis, but there's an opportunity. We deserve better. We deserve the best. We deserve a leader who won't have headlines due to investigations, but rather have headlines about jobs and education. We deserve a leader who won't demean immigrants in a city of immigrants. We deserve a leader who has the respect of City Council, Albany, and DC all at the same time. We deserve a leader who will give us a brighter tomorrow, and I ask for that chance to be that for you today. So today, on 11/26, a number that should resonate, because on 1/1/26 will be the new day of a new mayoral term. I stand before you and say that I am Reverend Michael Alexander Blake, son of the Bronx, son of New York City Public Schools, child of God, child of Jamaican immigrants, former Assembly member, former DNC Vice Chair, former White House aide to President Obama, current small business owner, current democracy freedom fighter, and I announce my candidacy for Mayor of New York City. What makes me different? You can sit on down. What makes me different? I'm a visionary, moderate leader who has progressive policy wins. You can actually be both at the same time. Because we still believe. We still believe in jobs and justice. We still believe in the middle class and finding solutions in the middle. We still believe in businesses hiring New Yorkers as we help our students to reach higher. We still believe that you can have public safety, public schools, public housing, public health, all win at the same time. We still believe in our diversity, in race and class and gender and sexual orientation. Makes us victors, not victims. We still believe in our city, our home, our dreams. Whether it's taking the 4 train from Yankee Stadium to Barclays, from 30th and Astoria to North Shore and Staten Island, or coming back to Uptown and Harlem. We are one city with a unified vision that if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Because I am one of you. I have managed teams locally and nationally as an elected official and as a CEO. From healthcare to higher wages, I have successfully partnered with unions when working with President Obama as a DNC Vice Chair and as an Assembly member. I understand that we all win when we all win. I am a man and a feminist at the same time. And I can support both because that is who we are as a people. That means you can support what happened to the people of Israel and the people of Palestine at the same time. It means that you can say that I help black folk get black jobs, but that doesn't mean you're going to take away my job. I embrace and celebrate all immigrants. Latino, African, Caribbean, of course Jamaican, South and East Asian, you are all welcome here. A vision that is centered on how do we make it so that you can make more money, be safer, and have justice at the same time. A vision where you can realize your actual middle class dream, while not ignoring that race and class and gender are a part of the conversation, not an excuse. If you help a kid have more in their book bag, then you won't worry and waste your time trying to arrest them for a dime bag. when people are trying to figure out how to pay for eggs or for milk. We must have universal child care, a broader care economy for women, children, and families, an expanded My Brother's Keeper initiative so that black and brown men have a seat at the economic table. Trump going to a barber shop doesn't mean that he gets it. But black and brown men aren't voting for us in the ways that we need them to because they don't feel like we get it either. In 1958, when JFK spoke about the vision of what we have as a country, he continued to remind us of so long as. So similarly, as New Yorkers worry about prices going up, we're just on yesterday, Donald Trump proposed tariffs on goods from Mexico. Let me make it clear. That means your prices are going to go up here in New York. And is deeming nonprofits as terrorist organizations. That means federal policies impact local policies. Nonprofits across our city continue to feel the burdens that they have to endure to keep the lights on while trying to help our families to make ends meet. So it's why nonprofits have to get reimbursed faster of all voices in all outer boroughs so they can have a seat at the table. A seat within our home means prices as they continue to soar. It means we have to address housing supply to, yes, build more housing, in particular middle-class housing, because you should not be too rich or too poor to make it in New York City. So let us pursue a local median income approach so that New Yorkers actually have access to housing, tax incentives for builders to build, union members getting livable wages, so that you are not afraid to realize your dream and become homeless at the same time. But we also need to have a New York City government that loves us. The same way we use technology for fun, let us use technology for good, so that we can get government services out to people faster, better, and make New York even better. To realize this future, we must develop the next generation of greatness, which I actively tried to do by bringing this brilliant black South Asian woman to get elected as vice president, so that young girls can see everything is possible. I understood their feeling because I am that kid from the Bronx who went to the White House. But I came back home to serve because I wanted young black and brown kids to know that you don't have to be a baller or rapper just to make it. You could work at a White House or a City Hall. When I watched Hell's Kitchen on Broadway, I paused with such joy and pride because I envisioned that we truly are the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. And there's nothing you can't do when you're from New York. Maybe I can help others to realize their dreams. This big city of dreams. Dream big dreams were the first things that President Obama said to me in 2006. And it's something that I'm realizing right now by running for mayor of New York City. But it starts by having the same love for our students, educators, and staff that we do for our city. It's time to re-envision education, to be broader than just a child passing a test, but actually ensuring they learn all aspects of life. From civic engagement, because they don't have schoolhouse rock like we did back in the day, to financial literacy being mandatory, so they actually understand the language of money from the cradle to the career. From healthier food options that are not just starting early in the day so that they're hungry late in the day, to more entrepreneurial options to give them more options in life. I love our city, but I love our children's future even more. A future that must have less of our students who are homeless in New York City schools. But how do we help someone to realize their dreams if they're wondering where she or he will sleep at night? Let us stop preparing someone just for a test, but let us prepare them for life. As New York City Mayor, our city's future is equally tied to our economy coming back stronger, because we have to have better and more jobs and better businesses for higher wages to realize our dreams. When Grace spoke about what we did during COVID-19, it wasn't just the responsibility of us making sure people had food. It's that people were going outside because they felt that they had no other option but to keep their job, but they were wondering if they could keep their home. So how do we have tax credits for businesses to return back to our city, with expanded incentives to hire recent college grads to come back home? For anyone who asks, how will we pay for these things? I love that the sun's coming out, praise God. For anyone who asks, how will we pay for these things? It's the priorities in a balanced and responsible way. The economic returns from sales taxes and from people coming back into our city will lead to being able to pay our bills. But we must also plan, everybody, for cuts and attacks that come from an incoming fascist president who has literally said that he would deport immigrants, raise tariffs, and defund schools that teach Black history. Unlike Mayor Adams, I won't use my Saturday nights trying to be close to him at a UFC fight, but I'll actually use my nights to make sure that you are safe and secure. I'm not here to focus on just left or right. I want to make sure that you are all right when I leave office. After you have left, remember how you made someone feel. Do they believe in government again because of you? One of my favorite lessons in the Bible comes when Jesus and others were going on the boat to Decapolis. After he had calmed the winds and the waves, he healed a man named Legion, who had said he had so many problems that he took them on by name. After he was healed, he asked Jesus, I want to go with you. And Jesus said, no, go and tell your friends what I have done. Today, when you leave from Sankofa House, or watching us online from your house, go and tell your friends that there is a new leader that is ready to lead New York City. A responsible leader of color who represents all of our people, so that you can make sure that the middle class can win while we find solutions in the middle. Go and tell your friends that you can believe in jobs and justice at the same time. Go and tell your friends that, like MLK, who said that in the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. I will not be silent when it comes to defending New Yorkers. Go and tell your friends that you have a choice before and continuing the path of Adams and Trump or pursue a new direction of jobs and justice. Go and tell your friends that despite the odds, we still believe. We still believe in our city. We still believe in our home. We still believe in our dreams. Go and tell your friends that I am here, and we ask for you to knock on doors and make phone calls and donate to us at blakefornyc.com because we have brighter days ahead. I am Michael Blake, a son of the Bronx, a son of Jamaican immigrants, a child of God, a child of New York City Public Schools, and I am running to be the 111th mayor of New York City because tomorrow begins today. God bless you, everybody.